is the live broadcast of Orsella and Friends. And as we were waiting for people to come in the room, I was saying that Orsella and Friends is a podcast idea that I have had brewing in my spirit for a few years now. You know how we do. We sit on those dreams, but then I finally let go and let God have this moment. And so
Correct.
Orsella and Friends is about all my friends, my professional friends, my expert friends in the wedding world, in my ministry world, in my family world, be able to come to this space and really talk about, what we do on a daily basis. So I am so super excited that you are my first guest of season 1, episode 1 of Orsella and Friends. Welcome. So as a part of this first segment, the question we always say when we want to know who's over there, we say what? Who all over there? Who all over there? We don't want to go over there till we know who is there.
Correct.
So this evening, ladies and gentlemen, I have the fabulous Steve, owner of Premier MC LLC. And as I posted on my Facebook page, the very first time I worked with Steve was my cousin's wedding, my cousin Xavier and Jonna's wedding. And to this day, I say you still owe me some shoes. You definitely owe me a hairdo because I sweat my hair out. I ended up dancing on the dance with no shoes on because you just kept that party going good. So I want you to tell everyone before we go into the topic, who all over there? Who's over there?
Well, listen, I appreciate the invite. It honestly is an honor. Ever like you said, ever since we met, it's just been love. I enjoy your energy. You literally match my energy, but you're an officiant. This is so crazy. So I love it, and I'm so honored to be here. But nonetheless, for those who are just kind of getting a chance to meet me and really kind of figuring out who is this guy that's on Rev's page. But nonetheless, my name is Steve. I own Premier MC. I've been doing Premier MC now probably, for some time now, honestly. I started back in 2010 when I was given an opportunity to host a wedding. Prior to that, I was hosting other events, right? I was doing talent shows. I was doing open mics and stuff like that on my college campus. And when I was given the opportunity to host a wedding, was a little bit apprehensive about it because I wasn't quite sure of all the bells and whistles that kind of go into a wedding, even though I've been to weddings, but I just never knew all the other bells and whistles that kind of went through it. So when I got a chance to do it, it was kind of the bare minimum, but I had a great time. And then I got asked again, like 6 months later, to do it again. So I'm like, why is everyone asking me to host their weddings? I've never done it before. And at that point in time, I had a question, and I talked to my sister, who I'm very, very close with, and I said, hey, this opportunity is presented to me. What do you think about it? And she was like, I think it's something you should roll with it. And I was like, you sure? She was like, yeah. And next thing you know, literally, boom, the next year, it was all up and running. I got a website. I started doing research. I started telling people about what I was doing. And that's pretty much all. It was all she wrote.
And that is the simplistic side of it. And that's what we always, tell the glory side of it, right? But you like me, you know that in order for people to take your business serious, you have to take your own business serious. So I don't want anybody on this IG Live to think that he is an Instagram page. No. This is a business owner I am speaking to. Okay.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Talk, if you don't mind, while we still have a few more, we start talking about proposals. Talk about that transition from, hey, just doing a couple of weddings to now I have to take this serious and really insure my business and brand this, because that's a major piece that people tend to forget.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that. I think there was a point in time when it was all fun and games to just kind of do a few events here and get stuff there. But then I also started realizing that there were a lot of other people that were starting to see the value of what I was doing. I was in for the first 2 to 3 years, all I did it for very minimal cost, but it was just kind of me doing a lot more research, kind of gauging the people that I was working with and really seeing what kind of value did they see in it? What are changes? What do they wanted to see in it? And as I started to get better and better at it, I started to get comfortable. I started to get more confident in myself and really get more aware of my surroundings and the ability to kind of connect with the crowd, which is something that a lot of people don't really take into account when it has to be when having an MC, a professional MC, hosting an event. I think it really takes a lot more than just someone kind of just talking on the mic and doing that aspect. So, and I feel like I was able to kind of pick those things up over the years of doing this. So, and I can say that I would probably say maybe around year 5 or so where I was like, okay, I think this is really a legit business where I can really start to establish myself, brand myself in other ways. And throughout the process, I've been able to be tremendously blessed and honored to travel, to the Caribbean a few times. I got another trip happening this year, and travel all the way throughout the states. So it's been love, man. And it's crazy. It's like people I've never even met. All they see is the page and they're like, we love that. Can you bring that here, wherever that is? And I'm there. So, yeah, so that's, that's how it's kind of transitioned and formulated for myself.
That's dope, Steve. And just so y'all know, the energy you see Steve giving right now is the piece of the energy that you see on the dance floor. And
yeah,
for any type of post, I'm like, yeah, I can already tell by the sweat, I can tell by the expression of your face that you all are having an amazing time. So talk about your process about, when you're about to, get ready for the reception with the couple, what is your process of getting them ready for the expectation of a premiere event?
Wow. Oh, well, the process is really just, it starts from the beginning, from the moment of time that I meet them. I want to really kind of get a sense of, okay, who are these people? What makes them tick? Why is this wedding so valuable to them? Of course, people want to get married and so great, but I want to get the aspect of their marriage and what they're looking forward to. Want to get to know who they are as people so that I can kind of take a little bit of that and add it to their wedding. I always want to make sure that I add some type of, make it very unique to them. A lot of weddings you'll probably see that some of them are very, very cookie cutter, so you kind of already anticipate a lot of different things. So, but me, I want to really kind of get to know them. And once I kind of get a sense of who they are and as well as their guests that are going to be there, then I kind of approach it where we are kind of either collaborating, putting together what that day is going to look like, what that reception is going to look like, right? And I always ask all of my clients, right? And this is something that maybe some other MCs could ask as well, is I say, hey, listen, on a scale from 1 to 10, how hyped do you want your MC? Now, of course, everyone says, oh, yeah, I want a 10. But do you really want a 10, though? But you know what? And like I said, it's not just me asking the question. I really ask the question because I want to be able to gather more information from that. Because if you say you're a 10, but do you guys reflect a 10 that the crowd would also be receptive to? So my thing is, okay, I could be a 10, but is the crowd going to be able to receive a 10? So do I need to bring it down to an 8? Now, I'll tell you a quick story, right? So I asked that same question about 3 years ago, and they may not be on this live, but I had a couple of mine, and they were phenomenal. And when I asked them that same question, and I said, on a scale from 1 to 10, where do you think you would want me? They said, I want you at a 25. I said, ma'am, I said a scale from 1 to 10. She said a 25. I said, ma'am, I don't know where I'm going to get this energy from, but I got to find it. And lo and behold, their guests were there. The moment I said, good evening, it was electric. So from there, there was no stopping me because the more energy they gave me, the more I gave it back, and it was ridiculous at that point. So I love it. So this is, like I said, I enjoy talking about this. So that's why this is an honor for me to do this for you, because I always be able, because it's so fun for me to talk about it and share my passion hosting and getting people to that point where they can really walk into the reception and say, this is something that I've never seen before, and I'm ready to party.
What? But I never even thought about asking that question for a reception. But I know I've sat at a reception. I've been like,
yeah,
why are they so hyped while we're eating right now? Like, I want to eat this prime rib before it's time for me to, like, don't play Jerusalem and wobble when I'm eating.
Listen, but you know what? Sometimes, listen, I've been at weddings where people do not want to sit down, and the maitre d' is asking me, "Can you tell the people to sit down?" And I'm like, "Sir, I've told them." And then now we got to play Heat Wave, Always and Forever, just so that they can sit down. And I'm like, ma'am, please, sir, do not get up.
Did you say,
Eat your food
did you say eat,
and do not
please?
get up.
I have not heard
Please.
you.
God, like just sit, please. But yeah, no, it's great. It's great. I love it.
Wow. Okay. So now let's make a little switch here into
Talk to me.
what we're here about. So
Hmm.
you're an MC, you're at the reception.
Hmm.
Um, someone taps you on the shoulder that says, I'm going to have a surprise proposal. Oh my goodness. Has that happened to you, and how did you handle that?
Well, um, I have it's I'm actually very excited. I'm very, very excited because like I said, I love proposals. I love weddings. And I'm kind of a person, a much more very spontaneous person, much more different than who my wife is. But so I'm the one that's really out there, right? So I really try to figure out, okay, so how do you want to do this? How much money do you want to spend? Do you want to like, where do you want to, how you want to make this work? So, so I'm just trying to gather as much information and try to figure out how I can fit into what their vision is and what their ideas are.
That's what's up. So speaking of your wife, talk
Hmm.
to us about your proposal. I mean, today is National Proposal Day, and
Yes, right?
I know a lot of people think that that means you have to be proposed on this day, but no,
Yeah,
we're acknowledging all proposals because you know
correct.
we are team marriage. We are team
Yeah,
together, so we are acknowledging
correct.
whether you got proposed on February 3rd, June 10th. Today is National Proposal Day. How did you do it with your wife?
Well, all right. So this is a cool story, right? So I started out, and me and my wife had met in 2012, and about a year in, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna make it happen and propose. And then so it took me a whole year to kind of get my funds together because I was, we were struggling back then, right? So I'm still trying to get my ducks together. And I had already asked her like what kind of ring she was looking for. So fast forward all of this process. So I finally was able to gather enough money, purchase this ring. And then I was like, I'm trying to figure out ideas. So some one idea that I had, I was like, oh, I should do it like at a concert. And I forget who was performing. Someone was performing in Hartford, and I was trying to get in contact with some of the program directors so that I could actually do it then. And it was supposed to be happening in February of 2014. And in 2014, it didn't happen that way because I was like, damn. So I was like, well, I gotta try something different. So no, it probably might have been January. I'm sorry, it might have been January. There was a concert. I wanted to do it on stage. Couldn't do it. So then fast forward, I was like, okay, so I have to ask her dad. I went, asked her dad, got her dad's hand in marriage. And then I obviously went and asked her sister. Sister was on board. I talked to her brother. Her mom's not with us. But so I asked those three because I was like, listen, y'all need to give me the approval. If it's good, we good to go. We all right. So that worked out. So then all of a sudden I said, all right, so I can't do the concert. I got to figure out another idea. And then I was like, okay, oh, maybe we can go to New York. And I had heard of someone else actually doing this, of actually going to the Empire State Building. So then I decided to go to the Empire State Building on the 86th floor, where the observatory is. So I said, all right, cool, I'm gonna get down there. But I'm like, how can I get her down there? I have no idea I'm gonna get her down there without anyone knowing. So finally, I gathered up a lot of her friends and I said, hey, I need a lot of your help. So, and I was like, I have a few ideas, not sure how to do it. But what I was going to do was, my first idea was I was going to plan to have an event, get her dressed, get her nails done, all that good stuff, get her
Mm-hmm.
dialed up, get her prepared leading up into the day for us to go to like a ball or a gala or something in Rhode Island. And then the day before, before that, I said, you know what I was going to do? No, I was going to say the day before, I was going to say, listen, man, I don't think this relationship is working. I don't know. In my mind, I was like, let me break off the
Those
relationship.
nerves
Then,
were
but my friend was,
working with you.
it was, but my friend was like, nah, that's not a good idea. I was like, no, maybe I need something. I need her to be upset with me so that we can get her down to New York. It was like, don't play that. So we finally got her friends to figure out a plan where I canceled the plans with her for us to go to Rhode Island, but she was already dressed. She had already got her nails done. She already did all this other stuff. So her friend got her to come down to New York to hang out at another one of her girlfriend's house so that they would hang out and do some things there. She was really not into it. Her father was into it. Her father almost squealed. He almost fell. He knew the whole plan, but he almost fell in. But finally, they got her down. She had obliged to go down to New York. I had already got plans. I told all of my friends, my family. They all met us down there at the Empire State Building, and I had one of my friends at the time and one of her girlfriends. They were supposed to meet her while she walked out of the elevator and start serenading her. And then they were starting to sing to her John Legend, So High. So, and that was our song, right? So they started singing to her, walked her out, and then eventually got her out. And once they got her out, everybody was there. Everybody was supposed to be hiding and not looking, right? So then I was supposed to come out, and then I came out. I said a few words. My nerves were crazy at this point, but I still went ahead and I said a few things. I don't remember what I said at the time, but I said, "Will you marry me?" She said yes, and I gave her a hug. And it was like, "Well, what about the ring?" I'm saying, "Oh, my bad. Where's the ring?" Oh, yeah, right. So and then I gave her the ring. We hugged, we embraced, went out to dinner, and here we are, being married since 2015. So,
Oh, and how many kids now?
oh, too many to count. 3.
Well, how many you put
Oh,
on the taxes? Just
yeah.
just
Oh, man.
beautiful, beautiful family, beautiful
Thank
story.
you.
But we have something else in common. That song is me and Howard's song.
Really?
So High, Don Legend, So High. That
Wow.
our song. It wasn't our proposal song, but I
Uh-huh.
remember wanting to do something very special for him on
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. And so,
Uh-huh.
you know how the song talks about being up on the cloud. So
Correct. Yeah.
I had all these blue and white balloons blown up, and I had them all in one of the rooms of our home. And
Uh-huh.
I had that song playing, and it was about going high on the cloud because that was our song, So High. So I'm kind of hyped that that was our song too. That,
Yeah. No, it was wild because I feel like I had heard her singing it, so I was like, oh, maybe that might be a great song. So I heard it and I thought it was pretty nice, and I was like, that clicks. We're going to be on an 86th floor in the sky so this just kind of works together. So, and that just became our song. So we haven't even had the pleasure of being able, because I've been so busy with these kids, we haven't had a chance to go out and dance. But we're gonna, you know what, I'm gonna plan a time moment where we'll have another dance, man, because it's been long, way too long.
you without knowing slipped into what I was just about to say. For those of you who are joining us, National Proposal Day isn't just about today's proposal,
Yeah.
but it's about reinventing that marriage, reinventing
Yeah.
that day you said yes, that day that you proposed. And I'll share with you my cousin when Howard and I were dating, and I was in that, look, what we gonna do? Which way we gonna go? And I'm
Yeah.
talking to my cousin. He was like, listen, Orsella, this man loves you,
Mhm.
and it's going
Mhm.
to happen, and it's
Mhm.
different for men than it is
Mhm.
for women. And
Yeah, absolutely.
he has picked out a ring. He is trying to figure out the proposal, plan everything. You
Mhm.
just need to be patient. And ever since he shared that with me, I thought about that differently in
Yeah.
my dating when we were dating, and then
Mhm.
especially when I couples now, I said, listen, my cousin told me it's different from men. Like we're excited
Yeah.
to get the ring, and you guys are nervous to give the ring.
Yeah, yeah, because it says a lot. It says a lot. You just don't go into it and you're thinking, oh God, this is what it is. This is literally a life-changing decision that you're making. And you're making this decision with the concept of this is my only time I'm doing this. So I have to either do it right and do it with the right person and know that this is the right decision that I'm making at the time. So, and you have to make a future decision based on your right now. So it's, so it is I mean, for me, I felt the weight of being able to go into it, but I honestly was just so in love with my wife and still am. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make this happen.
So that is, and that's the whole point of it. So I
Yeah.
share your story. So Howard and I, our proposal once again, we were at my cousin's wedding, another cousin,
Mm-hmm.
and I had just finished officiating, and something must have clicked in his spirit because right then he's sitting at the table with my parents and my family, and he asked them right then. I wasn't sitting there, but he asked them right then, hey,
Oh.
listen, I need your permission, your daughter's married. And I don't even know
Yeah.
if it took that moment for that because we're at a wedding. But then
Correct.
lo and behold, it was January 1st, 2011.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, 2011 when we were at this wedding. And 2
Uh-huh.
days later, he proposed. I had no idea. We were not, because my cousin already told me to calm down. So
Oh.
there were no hints. There were no subtle gestures. My family didn't tell me that he had talked about it at the table at
Yeah.
the wedding. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing I look back on it now is when we were at the restaurant where he proposed, he was unsettled after the dinner was done. And he was like, well, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
be clean this table. I said, well, we still here with you. Let's just oh. And he was like, no,
Yeah.
waving at people to come. And I said, calm down. So I decided to go to the restroom, and he was like, why you gotta go right now? I said, oh, what's the big deal? And not clicking in hindsight. So I don't know,
Yeah.
postponing the moment. And then when I get back to the table, I said, oh, good, they clean off the table. He's like, yes. And my husband is very low key, so the whole
Yeah.
thing that's just not him. So we just put the ring on the table, and I look at the ring, at the box, and I said, there better not be earrings in that box, because you do not give a woman a white box and put some earrings in there, right? And so, sure enough, I opened the box, and it was a ring.
Yeah.
I look up at him. He doesn't say, will you marry? My husband just says, are we going to do this? And I was like,
Howard, what are you doing? Uh-huh.
that's our love language. That's how we talk to one
That's
another. And,
awesome.
um,
So,
that's how our proposal went. But
hmm
after investigating proposal day and what this means,
yeah.
I'm really I'm influenced now to use that proposal date, that engagement date, as
Hmm.
another holiday in the marriage.
Yeah.
Just another date to say, hey, this is the moment I knew I would never be single again.
Hmm.
And at the moment
Hmm.
I chose you. So as we
Hmm.
look at those proposals, all of you who are joining us, put that date on your calendar. Other days. So now we get birthdays, wedding days, proposal days.
Yeah.
We
All
get
of
them.
that.
We got
All
them
of
all.
that.
Right. So I'm not sure if I asked you this, but would this
Yeah.
happen to me at a wedding? Well, it happened prior to the wedding. The bride told me that she was orchestrating a proposal with
Yeah.
soon-to-be brother-in-law who was going to propose to his girlfriend at the wedding. And I've seen on
Mm.
social media where people are like, oh, I would never do that. That's so selfish. And I
Yeah.
thought that was that the bride wanted to
Yeah.
do that for her brother. Have you ever experienced that?
To be honest with you, I haven't. I haven't. I feel like I've talked to other brides about that, and some of them have been like, "Yeah, nah, it's my time." I don't think I've really, or there hasn't, or people just hasn't really wanted to kind of take the shine away from other people. So, I mean, I've seen it on social media. I've seen people have been able to do that and people love it. It just hasn't happened for me. I think it's a cool way to kind of incorporate other people if you don't mind sharing the light for what it is, even for that quick moment, even for that slight moment. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't. Have you seen it? I
Yeah,
haven't seen it myself.
yeah. So like I said, because it was a wedding I did in Mexico, but
Oh, it was okay.
the couple that I was marrying had already told me, so that I could be aware that another proposal was going to be,
Oh,
and it was the bride's, and originally,
oh,
at first I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to share this moment, she's going to share this light, she doesn't care, that she doesn't mind. But when the proposal happened, it was a quick second. And because the guests were there for the couple, they had a few mutual friends, but not
hmm
all mutual friends.
oh, okay.
So everybody went right back back to the couple right
Oh, you
after
did.
that moment.
Oh, okay. I'm good.
It really changed my perspective of
Okay.
when people say, "Oh, you're taking the light away."
Yeah.
In that moment, it wasn't because the
All
guests
right.
were the couple and not.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I was
That's true. Okay.
just wondering if you ever saw that happen, and
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, you know what? Like I said, I see where I see your point, and I mean, I'd be more than happy to figure out a way to do that. Listen, I'll go all out as long as the people who are paying me don't mind me
we
doing
don't
something.
we don't mess up the
Hey,
client.
listen. You want me to shout them out? I'll shout them out. You don't want me to shout them out? I didn't see that happen. Listen, I don't even know what happened over there. I'm here with you, girl. I'm here with you.
Right. Because one thing we're not going to do is mess up the client's money. No, no, no,
Nah, we're not gonna do that.
no, no,
We're not gonna do that.
not. Oh my God. Steve, is there anything else you want to tell this group of viewers, as we say in church, this cloud of witnesses that are on here? Certainly how to reach you, but definitely
Yeah,
how do you make, because some people say, well, I got a DJ, and I get
yeah.
that, but your DJ is not going to one and two and walk around. They can't do that. I mean,
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? So I've had the pleasure of, like, most people who get a chance to see me and want to hire me either already know what they're looking for, so they know what I can potentially be able to bring. Others who are kind of coming in there really green, or so they're like, okay, so why am I spending money on a MC when I got a DJ, like, or I got my cousin James who could just do it.
mm,
And what I typically just tell them, I said, listen, one, I've in the years that I've been doing this, like I said, since 2010, is that you'll either find a DJ who either can't do it, don't want to do it, and or don't have the necessarily skill sets to either continue and elevate the type of the event that you're looking for. So that's the one thing that I always say, hey, listen, you got to be able to make sure that this is something that you're looking for. When you're looking for someone who can be able to not only articulate them, not one, first and foremost, assist and support you guys in being able to organize the event, right? Now, I know some couples may have like different types of what's it called, event planners,
right.
which are great, and I always suggest and always recommend to have event planners. But one of the things that I like to do is I'm always big about collaboration. So one of the things that I would do is I would support a lot of my couples in being able to kind of create what that organization is going to look like. And sometimes a lot of couples have a lot of ideas, and also I'm telling you, let me tell you, the amount of things that they want to do. They want to have somebody sing. They want to have to do backflips. They want to have the kids do a choir, like sing, like all these different things. And I'm just like, how do you expect to have all of this happen in 4 hours? Like, so I always have to kind of help them kind of bring them down and help them understand the transitional portion of it, and really for them to kind of maneuver in that part. So that's the organizational part. And with that also comes the facilitation part, as you were just talking about before, being able to have someone who can not only articulate themselves, but do it in a way that engages your crowd, capture the audience, and keep them with you throughout the whole entire time. Yes, we're making announcements, but we're also interacting with them, giving them something to look forward to throughout the whole entire evening, so that they're informed and they're not missing out on anything, so that they're not always constantly bugging the client and saying, hey, when are we going to dance? When are we going to eat? When are we going to do this? You can say, you know what? Talk to Steve or talk to the MC. They got it covered, right? And then last but not least, all you already know, like when it comes to entertainment, hey, I'm your guy, man. I listen.
Woo.
I start from the beginning until until, and just keep going all the way.
And
So I like to think of it like a roller coaster. So I try to start my receptions really high if I can, and then kind of bring it down. Like you said, you got to eat your little steak, right? You got to get your fish in there. Okay, not a problem. So I'll bring it down a little bit, and then after that, we going right back up. So I like to kind of bring a lot of my clients on like an emotional roller coaster of throughout the whole reception, so that they can also be able to have something that they can look back and be able to remember, enjoy. So I love it. So that's why I say that it takes a lot more for someone to come out and host it, and not just someone just to kind of make a few announcements, because I think anybody can make announcements, but if you're talking to someone who can manage the event, and the crowd and the engagement of your guests, I think you want to be able to have a professional. And I would always say, obviously, I'm biased, I'm me, but it is what it is. But I also say that if you don't have someone, find someone who's had some years under them, not someone who's just been doing it just for like here and there, because I think you would be missing out on the value of what an MC could be able to bring you. And I think that's what a lot of clients are looking for. Thank you. I think people are looking for an MC who can bring that type of energy, because maybe they themselves or their crowd is not necessarily in that mode, or they're not as pumped up and excited, so they need a little bit more cheerleading. So it takes a little bit more. So I'm always down to help out and do it that way, so that people leave there and thinking like, oh my God, that was really one of the best weddings. Like I don't know if you showed me, I posted up a video, and it's true, but I was trying to be funny about it, where like my clients would call me and they'd be like, oh man, it was the great. I'd be like, I know. Yeah.
I know.
So it was an all in jest. It was really all in fun. But I listen, I enjoy getting positive feedback from my clients, letting me know what they enjoyed, what they looked forward to. I love it when they say, oh, man, I can't wait to see the video, because you had everybody get stitches. So that's the part where I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta try to ante it up each and every time. So so anytime I get a chance, especially if someone who hasn't seen me before or don't really know what to expect, yeah, I try to bring it. And then folks who have seen me, I'm always trying to figure out, okay, how can I change the words? How can I approach it this way, so that they understand the approach that I'm having is something that's very unique to them, and they're not walking into it. So yeah. So that's just a little bit of what I bring to when it comes to receptions or just events in general. And I see one of my former brides in here, Francesca. I actually just did her wedding last year. I want to say it was December or so. So yeah, it was a great time too as well.
Francesca, don't know you, but hey, Francesca. Okay. I love that. Another planner is on here as well that we worked with, Erica from Upscale Events.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And that you really party with the crowd. And I think that's so important, because with so many other, I don't want to say distractions, but so many other things that pull us away at receptions now, like the 360 booth or the photo booth, lines of people standing to get their pictures taken or to be on the 360 booth, and you're like, where's my crowd? And that does not happen at your ceremonies, because you're very intentional about making sure that the party is on the floor and not at the booth.
Yeah. And you know what? Listen, I got nothing but love for folks at the booth. Do your thing, get that in, but don't spend too much time over there, because I need it over here. And I'm working with the DJ, and I'm even making suggestions and ideas and saying, hey, listen, maybe you might want to go with this. Because it's going to be ebbs and flows, right? There's going to be some songs people are like, oh, yeah, I love it. And other songs are like, I can take a break right now. Or I can go get a drink. That's fine. As long as you come back. As long as you come back. Because I need this dance floor full. I need it jumping, so that, you leave here, like you said earlier, I need the weave sweat out. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying it has to be totally ratchet where people coming out of their clothes, but if you hire me, you kind of understand what you need. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could always change it up. But I'm just saying that, like I always tell people, man, listen, you want higher energy, I could do that. But if you want it to be around a 5, I could do a 5.
Come on, couples do not pay for you to bring a 5, okay? Couples pay all that money for the plates, for everything, for you to bring the 25 that you talked about earlier. So, ladies, a Premier MC event is not for your silk press, okay? For your stilettos. It may be for the ceremony. Be cute for the ceremony, because when Virgo is officiating, it
Yes.
was cute. But when you
Yes.
walk into that reception, learn from someone who learned the hard way. It's a flat shoe event, okay? It's a
That's it.
flat
Just
shoe moment.
bring the flesh to.
Yeah, once
Come on.
they come take that plate, it's time for us to really be engaged. And
Yes.
I'm glad
Yes.
that we had this opportunity to really talk about
Hmm.
that. Now that you no longer live in Connecticut, like we used
Yeah.
to really be connected here. So we're
Right.
going to try to figure out how we can get some more weddings together, even if we're in,
Absolutely.
we got to figure that out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's crazy. And like I still find my way coming back. And I think, and I have to like look at my schedule again. And I believe I am back in Connecticut. Um, and I believe so I said that. So I believe I am back in Connecticut. I think it just kind of depends on what it is. So sometimes I'm either like I said, I'm traveling all over. So it's like as soon as I move down to Maryland, it's like I'm either up and down the East Coast. So I am back in Connecticut off sometimes, but I'm also either down in Florida or I'm down in DC, Maryland,
Or
Jersey a lot.
oh,
Exactly, right? Um, so it's I'm going to Costa Rica. I got that coming up. I'm in Ohio. So it's a bunch of different events and stuff coming up. So I'm pretty excited about.
well, I couldn't be proud of you or any more proud of you, and I'm excited. Yesterday I
Yeah.
preached about carrying your light, and the Bible verse was talking about when you have a light, God did not create it for you to put it under a shade or put it under a bowl. It was
Right.
intended for you to show others how God works through you
Hmm.
to be a blessing. And so when you said, I don't want to blow my own self up, you don't have to. Your light automatically shows on itself, and that's because
I
of your faith,
appreciate
and
that.
it's because
Hmm.
of family, your wife, everything
Hmm.
that you have built so far has been divinely driven. And so,
Thank
just stick with that.
you.
We're
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap up soon, but
Awesome.
how can people? Wait, I'm gonna have a do. Jamie said she's gonna have a do-over so I can experience this flat. Jamie, Jamie, just we'll have to ask. I just said ask. Oh my God, we have to
Oh my God.
ask. Jonna and Xavier to upload their wedding reception because that's the reception where I first met Steve, and then we did another wedding after that, and again,
Yeah,
same thing happened. But
absolutely.
how do people reach you? Come on, give us the deets.
Okay, all right. Always. Okay, good, good. Well, listen, right here, you can literally, I guess you can kind of jump off of here, or maybe just follow me here, but just like clicking on the link. It's Premier_MC. That's where you'll find the majority of my content. And you'll find some stuff on YouTube as well. There's a lot of my long story videos. Um, and then I do some stuff on Twitter, but not as much. But you'll find some stuff there, and TikTok. I do some, a little bit of there. So just still kind of, so for the most part, you'll find me at Premier_MC, Instagram, PremierMC.com. That's PREMIERE MC, not just the M and the C. It's EMCEE. So double those three E's in there. And that's all my information. And if you ever have any questions, or if there's other hosts out there that are just interested to figure out, okay, how do I kind of go about this? I'm more than happy to support. I'm really kind of putting some things together so that we can kind of put together like a course or a class or anything like that in the near future. So I'm more than happy to support and help those on the come up and kind of share a little bit of what I know. So, but that's me.
Thank you. And I want everybody to know that Steve is why I do content creation so much. And we first up, and I was, this was Instagram, almost 10 years ago, right? And I didn't know what I was doing at all. I was just like, oh, Steve, I can't get into that. He goes, you got to post it. You got to do it. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep building it. And if I posted something wrong, he was confident enough and not worried about what I would say to just inbox me and say, hey, you might want to change the dynamics of this post and change that. That's what collaboration in leadership is all about. Being able to take that criticism, or that critique, and be able to help each other grow. So, my friend, I thank you so much for being on season 1, episode 1.
No,
So
absolutely. This
I'm
is
gonna
great. This is
so,
great.
so this was the inaugural podcast, right?
Okay.
This will probably be the only one live. Well, I won't say that, but the first one is definitely going to be live. Going
Hmm.
forward, I will be recording them
Hmm.
on, pre-recording them and then uploading the edited final beautiful session. This final segment is called Tea Time,
That's
and where
it.
the only tea I'm spilling is the gospel. That's the only tea
Feeling
I'm going to spill. And the good news that I have for you, Steve, is to
mm-hmm.
never lose your authenticity.
Hmm.
Never lose who God has created you to be. Stay in your lane because that's where you shine the most, and
Hmm.
that's why people love you, and that's why you don't have
Yeah.
strangers. Friends. So continue to
Hmm.
stay in that path and in that space because that's where your good news is.
Mm.
And to everyone else who is watching right now, the good news for you is let
Hmm.
your light shine before people. Forget
My
their
God.
opinions.
Hmm.
Forget what they think about you. You were born to shine. You were born
Yes.
to lead. You were born to inspire and empower. So here
Correct.
on Orsella and Friends, we are going to keep uplifting one another. We're going to keep building
Hmm.
each other's business up. There are no tear downs up in here. There is no gossip on here. This is just real business, real
That's
entrepreneurs,
it.
real people
Hmm.
kicking it with one another.
That's it. That's it. That's it. I love it. I love it. Yes, this is, like I said earlier, this has definitely been an extraordinary opportunity. And I love you so much, Ursula, because not only I love your energy, I love everything that you bring to it and anything that I can be able to add to your growth or even anything, even when it comes to just Instagram or social media, I'm more than happy to be here for it. So for all those that are here, I hope you guys receive that word because I sure did too. And I'm gonna hold it dear in my heart, and I'm gonna be able to make sure that this thing comes to manifestation. I love you. Congratulations on the podcast, and I look forward to everything that's coming forward for you.
Thank you. And I saw everyone that was joining. And so I see some of my fellow officiants on here. Thank you for
Yes,
joining. I'm going to be interviewing a lot of officiants, not to, take away from what we've already received, but the officiants don't get enough love in the marriage
that's
industry.
true.
We don't get
That's true.
tagged. We don't
No.
get so Ellie, get ready, girl. We're gonna have an interview with wedding officiants real soon to talk about how we are so important to the ceremony as well. But
Absolutely. Because without y'all, we don't get the party.
without y'all, you get
We don't get the party.
without us, you just had a style shoot. You didn't even have a wedding.
Come on now. Talk to me. Talk to him. Talk to him.
Anyway, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
I pray that everyone has a blessed evening and
Yeah,
that you will wake up tomorrow feeling even more inspired to continue to stay in your lane and shine with the light that God has given you.
absolutely. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Hope
you.
you have a great time.
Everyone have a great
Have a
Bye
good
bye.